Hi, everybody. It's Eva Pohler here coming to you live in the Polar Bear Lounge. I hope you're all having a great day and that some of you are able to make it and join me today as I talk about how to make writing book reviews a snap by using my easy peasy templates. And even if you don't use the templates, just learning this particular formula could make it a lot faster for you to put out book reviews. But before I get into talking about how to write the book reviews, I just want to talk a little bit about their importance, which most of you know, but maybe not everybody knows. And maybe I'll point out some things that you hadn't thought of before. So let me go ahead and get started with that. And you know, it's obvious that book reviews are mainly for readers, to help readers determine if a book is for them, right? And so, but readers get different things out of book reviews. It's not just the good reviews that help them decide that this book is for them. Sometimes a bad review will help them decide that a book is for them. What one reader doesn't like may be just the thing that another likes. And let me give you an example. I had a very famous booktuber with hundreds of thousands of followers read my story, Vampire Addiction, which is the first book in the Vampires of Athens series. And come to find out, she hates love triangles. She thinks it's this cliche that almost every YA novel has, and it just totally ruined the story for her. But she had a lot of great things to say about the world that I created, about the Greek mythology integration in with the vampire lore. And so, you know, at first I thought her review was going to kill my cells. And then, oh, hey, Sarah, I'm so glad you could join us. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you have all my books and love them. That's always nice to hear. As I was saying about this famous booktuber, she, you know, I thought that her review was just going to kill my sales because she did it on her BookTube channel. But the opposite happened because there are a lot of people like me who love triangles. And they also loved hearing what she had to say about my Greek mythology world that I incorporated in with the vampire lore. So sometimes negative reviews can actually help. So if you read a book and you don't like it, don't hold back. Unless you're an author and you don't want to, you know, cause any problems with your colleagues. I mean, for me as an author, I think once you start to become an author, then you stop writing reviews because now these are your colleagues. But when you're not an author and you have a negative experience with a book, you might want to go ahead and leave a review anyway, because it could definitely help other readers, not just help readers decide this is not the book for me, but it might help them see that it is the book for them. I've had other examples like that happen to me. Sometimes bad reviews have incited readers' curiosity. So like, for example, I have over 1,000 reviews on the mystery box, and it averages at close to 4 stars. So the majority are liking it, but I do occasionally get or more than occasionally, I have quite a few 2-star reviews too. And one of them says, "This is definitely one of the strangest books that I have ever read. Determined to finish the book, I kept thinking that Yvette was surely dreaming the bizarre story. Nope, she was living it. Some may enjoy the storyline, but I found it disjointed and full of preposterous events. Think this will be my first and last novel by this author." Well, the fact that she talks about how strange it is, how bizarre it is, actually incited curiosity. Other people, when I posted this on my Facebook page and said, "Oh no, look at this horrible 2-star review I got," a lot of people said, "That makes me want to read it." So sometimes negative reviews can actually help people decide that they do want to try a book. And it can also give people a better idea of what the book is about. So Sarah and anybody else that might be watching right now, have you ever used a bad review? Oh, hey, Bree, I'm so glad you're here. I was just asking, has a bad review of a book ever prompted you to read a book because it mentions something that either might appeal to you or has stirred your curiosity, or have bad reviews turned you off all the time? I'm just wondering if a bad review has helped you pick a book. Then if you'd say, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, maybe I'll still, you know, try the book because maybe I like it even though this other person doesn't. I'm just curious. Oh, so Sarah says, I always have felt bad when I say that I can't get into a book. It makes me sad because that is all I can do anymore because of my leg problem. Yes, I totally get it. And I'm not talking about trying to get into a book and then not being able to finish it. I'm not suggesting that you should have to write a review or mention anything like that. So I'm so glad you made that comment. I'm talking about when you've read a whole book and reflecting back on it, you just thought, I really don't think I can recommend this book to anyone. And so what I'm saying is that if you have finished a book and you still don't think you like it, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead and review it anyway, not to warn other readers that this book will make them miserable, but just to mention what you don't like, because sometimes what you don't like in a book is the very thing that another person loved. I've had other, especially this has happened with my Purgatorium series, which I used to market as a young adult novel until I realized how much better it does when I market it as a horror novel. And since I changed to marketing as a horror novel, the reviews have been better, the sales have been better, but people reading it as a young adult novel just felt it was way too creepy. It was too, you know, it was too weird for them. But as a horror novel, these people are eating it up. So sometimes reviews can just help people, even the authors who write them, get a better understanding of, you know, how this book should be categorized, what kind of book it actually is. So another example was of the mystery box. Someone wrote, after I finished it, I kept running it over in my mind, wondering, would I do any different? What else could they have done? And so on. It's not an enjoyable read. It's not a great book, but it's haunting and mysterious and has a fine ending. However, if you do not like stories that are haunting, don't read this. If you don't like those books that have rape, psychological abuse, twists and turns to the very last page, you will not like this one. So even though this reader enjoyed, I don't say she didn't like it, but she still got some kind of enjoyment out of it. So that's kind of helpful to readers too, to know this particular book, The Mystery Box, is really different from most of the books that I write, in that it does have rape, psychological trauma, abuse and things and so forth that are triggers to some people. So it's helpful when a review mentions that. So I'm talking about helpful to readers, but reviews also are helpful to authors. And I don't know that many people realize that book reviews aren't just for readers. I've heard the argument, book reviews are for readers, they aren't for authors. But authors use reviews to gauge how well they are pleasing their audiences. And just to give you an example, have y'all read it was The Gatekeeper's Promise, and now it's Hades' Promise. It's the 6th book in what was the Gatekeeper Saga, and now it's called the Underworld Saga. And although most of the reviews of that book, which was originally the last book in the series, most of the reviews were awesome, I had enough reviews that expressed their disappointment with the ending that gave me pause. And for example, here's one, just so you know what I'm talking about. I really liked this book. The only part I was disappointed with was the ending. It felt a little rushed, and I really hated the fact that the main characters had to give up so much just to be with one another. I really hoped for a happier ending. Otherwise, the book was awesome, just like the ones that came before. And so reviews like this help authors know, okay, you know what, maybe that wasn't what my readers wanted. And so what that did was it spurred me on to continue the series. And that's why we got Hypnos, Hunting Prometheus, and Storming Olympus, because there were enough people that said something about their disappointment with the ending in Hades' Promise, or The Gatekeeper's Promise, that made me think, hey, you know, because I think most authors want to please their readers. They aren't just writing to please themselves. They want to make sure that their readers are happy. And so even though most people will say book reviews are for readers, they aren't for authors, most authors read reviews. Not every single one, but we check, and it helps us understand what our readers want. So keep that in mind too. Especially if you have a favorite author and you want them to keep putting out a kind of book that you appreciate, let them know what is working for you and what's not working for you, so that they can respond to your needs. Now, book reviews also help authors get promotional opportunities that they wouldn't get without reviews. Many of these publicist companies or promotional companies won't accept your book for a promotion if it doesn't have a certain number of reviews. So reviews definitely help with that. And then, of course, they also sell books. even if the reviews aren't amazing, if you have 1,000 of them, that tells readers that 1,000 people found this book interesting enough to read it and comment about it. Even if they didn't love it, it might, not all of them loved it, but enough of them did. It still might be worth a read. So just the sheer number of book reviews will help. And I tell you what, sometimes I think, you know, there's over 600 people, almost 700 people in this group. And of course, I've got over 400 people on, if you're watching me on my YouTube channel. And I've got thousands of other followers across my other social media. And I thought, if these people who follow me, if every single one of them left a review, my career would be transformed. Because some of my books only have, that have been around for a while, might only have like 50, 60, 70 reviews on them, even though I know thousands have read them. Just from my sales, I know that. And so, you know, we know as authors that only 1% of the people who read are going to leave a review, and that's just life. And I understand, you know, life, it's busy, and leaving reviews aren't a priority, especially when you have, you know, a job that you've got to take, kids that you got to take care of, a house you got to take care of, animals that you take care of. You know, who has time for reviews? So that is why I have come up with these easy peasy templates. I thought, you know, I can't come on here and complain and moan and groan about how I don't have as many reviews as I kind of wish I had if I don't have a solution, right? So that's why I've come up with my templates. And so they're designed to make them easy. But before I share with you those templates and kind of talk about how to use them, I want to tell you what I think are key ingredients to a good review. And so you tell me whether or not you agree or disagree. Oh, and by the way, another question I want you to think about during this review is, I'm thinking about going blonde again. I know this is so crucial for you to think about, but I'm thinking about going blonde again. I have a wedding coming up this weekend. We're practicing social distancing. It's a very small wedding, but I was thinking about going blonde. Do you think I should do that? Let me know in the comments, or should I just keep it sort of this dirty dishwater color? And you can see my profile pic on my social media. That's when I had it blonde. And so I'm thinking about doing that again for the wedding. But you let me know, think about it, and get back with me on that. I know that's such an important thing to think about. But anyway, back to the key ingredients of good book reviews. And the first is that it starts off with a very brief summary. Just because readers, they may have looked at the blurb, they may not have. They may have gone straight to the review. So having just a really quick sentence summary. Now, some book reviewers go way overboard on this summary part. In fact, sometimes their summary part is longer than their review part. I'm suggesting a sentence summary, and I have a formula on my templates that makes this so easy to do. And here are some examples of sentence summaries of books that I've written, for example. So, a 17-year-old girl fights her addiction to the vampire bite. Anybody know what that book is? If you know what book that is, mention it in the comments. I'd love to know if anybody recognizes that book. A 17-year-old girl fights her addiction to the vampire bite. So here's another one. A teen struggles to prove she's worthy to be with the God she loves. Anybody recognize that one? And here's a third one. 3 friends want to bring peace to ghosts haunting a flip project. Anybody recognize that one? So these are examples of sentence summaries that you can give just to help the person reading the review understand a little bit about what this book is about. Especially, sorry, I just blow dried my hair, and I've got all these flyaways that keep wanting to get in my mouth. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, so you don't want, especially don't want spoilers in that synopsis that you provide. I also want to mention that it is customary to use present tense when you're reviewing a book, especially when it's the summary part. So notice I'm saying 3 friends want to bring peace to a ghost, not 3 friends tried to bring peace to ghosts, or, you know, we're talking about in present tense. So summary is 1. Number 2, a good book review will compare the book to another comparable book, especially one that's more, you know, well known. So for example, another reviewer of the Mystery Box wrote, if you have read Gone Girl and enjoyed it, then this is your kind of book. If you did not like Gone Girl, you will not like this book. It is haunting. So that is helpful to other readers to know. If they read Gone Girl and they just were like creeped out by it, then they know this is not the book to buy. But if they read Gone Girl and they loved it, well, then maybe they'll give mine a try. So that is also That's another helpful thing to have in a review, is if you can think of another book like it. A good book also explains what is most enjoyable if it's a positive review, or most disappointing if it's a negative review, about plot and character. A little mention of plot and a little mention of character. So here's an example of a very, you can do that in a sentence. And here's an example of, for the Secrets of the Greek Revival. Slightly wacky ladies, humor and good intentions result in a very interesting story. So just a little mention about what they loved most will really help in helping other people. Here's another one. This is from a critical review of the same book. A couple of the characters went from complete mental dysfunction for decades to near normal in record time. So that disappointment lets other people, it kind of zooms in on why they didn't like it. And I disagree, of course. I don't think that's what happened, but it's good for readers to see what some people might have had problems with. And then the third thing is that a good book review describes the overall impression. And you can do this at the beginning of the review, but I think it makes a good kind of conclusion to your review. And I'm talking about these, truly, authors are happy with any kind of review. I mean, one word, one sentence, and I'm pleased that they just took the trouble to even review it. But so here I'm talking about people who are trying to up their game a little bit, keeping it easy, but maybe you're a book blogger or a book reviewer who is trying to become a more well-known blogger. So these are things to keep in mind for that. If you're a regular reader and you just want to leave a sentence about what you liked or didn't like about the book, by golly, do that. I am not trying to say that you are wrong. And then I also wanted to mention that a review should never comment on the author, especially if it's negative. I am fine if people say, I love Eva Pohler, or Eva Pohler makes me so happy. I mean, those things are great, but I don't like it when people say, I hate Eva Pohler, or Eva Pohler sucks. And here's an example of someone who basically said that. They were reviewing the mystery box, and this really, it really hurt. They said, I skimmed the text after the first 25%, impatient to understand plot outcome. It feels that the author is a victim of dissociative personality disorder. The overwhelming final effect is sympathy for the fragmented, shattered, smart, dumb personality of Eve Pohler, didn't even get my name right, and very much wishing her well. There's not really any reason for someone to say that about me, that I have dissociative personality disorder and that I'm smart/dumb and have a fragmented personality. I mean, how can they have that information based on what I wrote in a novel? And it's just really uncalled for. So even if you hate a book, try to refrain from saying, I hate this author. Instead say, I hate this book, or I hate this author's work. And then it's not so personal, because authors do have feelings, and we don't like for people to say personal things about us in reviews. But as I said, most authors are just happy to have any kind of response, any kind of a review. Loved it, hated it, simple sentence works. Now, if you are wanting to up your game, but you're wanting to keep it easy peasy, check out my templates, okay? I'll have a link at the bottom of this video when I'm done, but let me just kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about. I have templates for positive reviews and negative reviews. And so all you really have to do here is copy, so you can click on the link that I'm going to give you, download the PDF and save it to your computer. Then when you want to leave a review, you just open up the document, copy whichever one you need, the positive, the negative, or the mixed. Copy it, paste it into the review form, like on Amazon or Barnes and Noble or wherever it is you're leaving your review, and then go in and just fill in the blanks with your details. The blanks are actually information in brackets. And so let me just give you an idea. So for a positive review, I have title of book is what you would fill in. That's the bracket. By, name of author, is about, and then you give brief description of the main characters, like a 17-year-old girl, and then trying to, and then the name of the goal or desire. 17-year-old girl trying to overcome her addiction to the vampire bite, right? So you're just identifying the character and the character's goal. That's all you need for your little synopsis, is that single sentence. Vampire Addiction by Eva Pohler is about a 17-year-old girl trying to overcome her addiction to the vampire bite. There you go, right? And then you say, and then it might be compared to, and then you mention a comparable book. It might be compared to Twilight. And you could say why, or you could just leave it at that. Then say, I love, and then describe most what you love about the book. I love the blend of Greek mythology into the vampire lore. My favorite character, maybe it's Hector. That's one of my favorite characters. My favorite character is Hector because he is so strong, noble, good-natured, and devoted to Gertie. And then maybe you would say overall, and then give an overall little thing, overall little summary. Overall, this book, and then a summary, summarize in one sentence what you love about it. Overall, this book made me feel like I was on an adventure. You know, so that's an example. It's just a fill in a blank template. I have one for the critical review, and then I also have one for a mixed review, which is where you liked some things about the book, but you were disappointed about other things in the book. And so as soon as I'm done with this video, I am going to put the link below where you can get those templates. And I really hope they help make writing reviews easy peasy for you. If you feel like you got something out of this, if you could give my my video a like, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'd love it if you gave it a like and possibly subscribe to my channel. Next week, I am going to be talking about a boot camp for readers that I'm going to put on, and I'm planning on showing you how to get to kind of clear the clutter in your space, on your body, and in your mind to get you better focused and to get to kind of enrich your reading life. And so next week, I'm going to talk about this boot camp that I'm going to host here in the Polar Bear Lounge, or maybe I'll create an event page for that. I still haven't decided, where we are going to take 6 days, and I'm going to have these challenges for you to do to kind of get your reading life more organized and focused. And so that's going to be the topic next time. I hope you'll join me. And thank you so much, those of you who were able to come and be with me live today. And those of you who are watching the replay, I'd still invite your comments to some of the answers, the questions that I asked. I still invite you to give me some feedback on things that I could improve. And I definitely want to know, should I stay this color or go blonde? Thank you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you around in the lounge. Bye-bye.